All right, let's do it live on a Reaction Monday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. Merely Bo, the great Z. Last night was scary. And I'm talking about the weather. But now I see the sun is out. We had no electricity out middle of the night, which led to just one cataclysmic thing after another. Smoke alarms, beeping things, bouncing around the house at 1:30 in the morning. That was a treat. I really enjoyed that. And then this morning,
you look great though.
Feel okay. One of my I cannot get the one GFI that controls the outdoor. I can't get it to reset. And I understand there's probably a cord in water somewhere, so I went around the house. I unplugged everything. The one GFI will not reset. So that was my evening, and that was my morning. I can tell you that we were in lovely Chagrin Falls on Saturday, trying to do something for they have a lacrosse store there we went to for a little birthday thing, and then we had a little Benihana, and then we stumbled into a toy store. They have two lovely ones on that main street there that are a barrel of fun, and they had a Mega Monopoly, which is a bit of a game changer.
How big is it?
It's bigger.
Well, it's mega. Instead
of 3 spots to land, there are 4. There are 3 dice instead of 2. The blue dice has a Mr. Monopoly and a bus ticket on it, and you can use those. So you let's say you roll the dice, you land on. There's now Florida Avenue is in the dark blues.
Yeah.
You can then use the bus ticket to go to the next unbought, and then you could get them both at once.
Oh man!
And you do not need all 3 properties to build a Monopoly. You only need 2 out of the 3. There are skyscrapers, bus depots, $1,000 bills. It's a lot going on.
Yeah.
It's a lot going on.
That sounds
Played
pretty
it
big.
the last couple of nights. It's been fun.
Pretty
Kids have
big.
loved it. Bootsy won in with my help as his financial advisor on night 1. Last night, despondent. Up in arms. Oh, God. Threw his stuff, left because he was bankrupt and lost. And I said, this is life, buddy. This is what happens. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
My kids who are 15 and 16 we've been playing a lot of Sorry lately.
There you go. Yeah. I like a little sorry.
Sorry with fire and ice.
Yeah.
Do you know? Are you familiar
I don't know
with
that I'm
version?
familiar with the fire and ice. Sorry.
So it just adds another layer. Mm-hmm. But they love it for the viciousness of it.
Yeah.
Because you can be very personal.
Sure you can.
And they get a great kick out of that. They love it. So it's been actually very funny playing that game the other day. Mega Monopoly sounds like a good time.
Mega Monopoly you'd have a fun time with. And it goes quick. Like most of the properties are bought within 25 minutes
because you're able to just make sure
you're going so
them.
quick.
Yeah.
Like you with 3 dice, you go so far.
Yeah,
and then with the Mr. Monopoly and the bus tickets, you zip through. So it goes a lot quicker.
Yeah. It was nice to see some blue sky out.
It is, but it was harrowing last night. Did you have weird weather?
So we're sitting there. We had internet got knocked out, which when you cut the cord presents a challenge. However, it came back very quickly. Shout out Spectrum.
Good job.
We're sitting there, and we ended up watching an old a DVD.
Okay, I like an old DVD.
An old DVD. So we watched Doctor Strange in the Multiverse, and then it came back like midway through. But we did finish the film. But all of a sudden, I heard arose such a clatter.
Yeah,
and I sprang from the couch to see what was the matter. And I'm like, something fell. Yeah. But I'm walking around the kitchen. Sounded like it came from the kitchen. Nothing's fallen in the kitchen. And then I look outside, and a huge branch had fallen on our deck. Fortunately, it was dead, so it just kind of like disintegrated as opposed to making dents or doing anything. Yeah. But the back of our house there's a lot of windows. And fortunately, it hit a spot that had no windows and came down. And then I looked out this morning. I'm talking massive limbs were down.
Yeah, it was a hell of a windstorm.
I went out to take the garbage out on a Sunday night because that's what you got to do, and it was like,
yeah,
those are my wind sound effects.
I like that. That was pretty good.
I thought it was good.
That was quite good. That was quite good.
You know what G-Man did yesterday?
Tell me.
The stats. He was our stats guy.
He was the official stats guy.
He was great.
He looks like someone who would thrive in that role.
He did.
I think he would be very detail oriented.
Yeah.
I think he'd be on it. I don't know that there'd be a whole lot of distraction. I think he'd have his eye on the prize.
He was very on it.
Yeah.
Very on it. Yeah, I was quite
G-Man.
pleased. He's also very generous with seating arrangements and everything, so that was very nice.
That's nice.
He was great. Couldn't have been better.
That's nice. 4:00 on a Sunday. Oh, go ahead. You want to do something else first? I'd love to.
Yeah, I just have to do one other thing
any other
first.
thing you'd like. quite honestly.
I am throwing myself at the mercy of the court, and I feel like I have great evidence in my.
My pen is ready.
I texted you on Saturday when the news of Tua broke.
Yes.
That changes the over-unders completely. And
Yep.
I wanted to switch sides. I made it known to Gibbe, and G-Man was witness
Yeah.
in the studio as well. So I kind of feel like, honestly, I think we had 3 differences, but all of them were in a way linked to Tua. Because
I believe so.
A-Chan is
So here's
super
the other
linked to Tua.
So because we had to get the oldest got casted on Friday, so I did the show remotely Friday.
Right.
And the sheet that I wrote it all down on, I left at home.
Pretty sure our differences were, if I have this right,
It was Tua completion percentage.
Miles' sacks in the game.
Yeah, and I remember you saying now he's going to get 5, and he ended up the over-under was 1.5.
And he went over, and then our over-under, and then I was sacks, interceptions, turnovers. I was under, but then I said we're going to go over, and we went over as well.
Yeah.
And then the other one was something had to do
It was
with
Tua's completion percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
also
I think,
A-Chan, and to me, A-Chan as a receiver is clearly linked to Tua. This guy didn't even throw A-Chan the ball out of the backfield. It was like outrageous.
yeah, we'll have to we're going to have to talk to the committee and see what is the best play to
I'm
just
happy
throw
to
the
go
whole
in
thing
down
out.
1. Go into week 18 still down 1.
Just throw everything out from last week.
No, I think you're down 2.
I think you are down 2. You are down 2. Yeah, he's 40 and 36. You're 30.
If there's one that didn't, because the only one, but
all
one
of it would be
those
tied to Tua,
the
quite
only
honestly.
one that wasn't was the over-under would have been, but we both went under anyway.
Yeah, so you both got that one right.
Right,
So
so
like
now
all
I'm
the
just
other
down 2.
4 all would have been tied
I
to
think
Tua
since
one
it's
way or
week
another.
18, let me just throw this out there as well.
Go ahead.
I think-
By the way, we should just play 17 weeks in a 16-game season. We should
Yes.
go into the playoffs right now because this is ridiculous. But go ahead.
I'm good with that.
It's just too much. It's too much. Go
I
ahead.
will say
Yeah.
the bad football this weekend was as bad as it's ever been.
Yeah.
But the games that were good with 2 teams that were fighting were as good as they have ever been.
Exactly. And if it was a 16-game season, we'd be done and we'd be going.
We'd be going.
And now we're going to
That would have
another
been
week of it.
Boy,
that would
that
have
have been a heartbreaker for the Falcons.
probably.
talk about that
Let's
for
do
a
that
second?
first. Let's do
Let's
that
talk about
first.
that.
I don't understand. I love that game. I love those
Great
2
game.
quarterbacks.
Fun.
Penix is he looked really good. Daniels is a stud. It totally makes you not understand the Cousins thing at all, or I don't know what.
Here's the thing.
Maybe Cousins. Maybe they took Cousins and then Penix fell into him, and they're like, "We got to get him. We can't."
He
risk
fell into it.
against-"
He went 8th. In
went
mock
8th.
drafts, he wasn't even going until like the second round.
They just loved him, and
So then-
I don't know if they didn't think he would be there or not.
So then
I don't know.
draft him.
I don't know.
You can't do both. That was my problem. With
I
what they
agree.
did. Couldn't
I
do
agree. But I think they clearly have something in Penix. Like he's got onions. That was a hell of a drive, dude. They snap it over Bijan's head. They're second and goal from the 27.
Yeah.
And they scored.
Yeah.
And the one is a BB across the middle on the slant. It's right past the defender, right past his ear hole for the touchdown. Jeez, to Pitts. That was incredible. So, and Daniel's a stud. So those 2 look great. That was fun. I loved that game. I do not understand how in the year of the Lord 2024,
I know what you're going to say right now.
nobody understands time and circumstance and timeout.
He'd be
Just play Madden.
He would be fired in my organization.
Fired. I agree. I think you're gone.
Fired.
I think it's a fireable offense. You cost
did in
your
the
team
first half,
postseason.
too.
No, he screwed up in the first half. You have 2 of them.
Did you see after the
16
game? Did you see what he
seconds.
said? I
No.
thought our operation could be quicker. There were only 30-something seconds.
30 seconds when he's down.
Yes. So even if you're best case scenario, you're going to use a third of the time allotted just to get up there. How about you call a timeout? You have another play.
Another one left. You have
and
another,
you have another timeout. It's not like it was the only timeout.
He could have thrown. He could have run 2 more. He could have run a play. He could have called 2 plays, ran them both, saved the timeout,
Yes.
used it on the second play, and
You
then
needed
use
that
it.
timeout. He was on the sideline. You needed that timeout there.
Then they run that poor kid out there for a 56-yarder. That kid who was here.
We
no
knew-
chance he was making a 56-yard
I said-
field goal.
I said-
Better off Penix just throwing it into the end
I said
zone.
to Kayla, I said he doesn't have a leg for that. And
No.
how do I know that? Because he was just here and his
We've
range was
witnessed.
topped out 53-54.
Right.
Topped out. Insane. That's number gone. And then
I
post
would-
game,
I
he's
think
like,
it's-
you know what? I thought our operation would be faster. Maybe we could have done. Dude, no, that is all right. If we get a chunk here, automatic timeout.
Automatic.
It's automatic. It's
Right
automatic.
now, you can't get it organized.
It's not even
quicker.
a thought. And I'm kind of surprised Penix didn't take matters in his own hands and say, timeout.
I think if he wasn't a rookie, he would have.
like
He's in his second start.
I
think if that's Cousins, I think it's timeout.
I
and
wish
we're
that
done.
that was a Manning cast because Pate would have been losing his
Pate
mind.
would have lost his mind.
We gotta get a timeout here, Pate. Pate, what are we doing, Pate?
Did a lot of this.
He's been like, oh, Oh,
Crazy.
Pate would have been so mad.
That was a fun game.
By the way, you use that timeout when you get that pass interference, you're running another play.
You sure are.
And you're going to get into the range
sure
that's
are.
acceptable.
That was stupefying. Everyone had to be screaming. Was there anybody not screaming timeout?
I mean, I was.
So was I. I don't know anyone who's watching
And I had
football.
it as we talked about. I had it on my phone. I had it on my phone in bed. It's like, timeout. Give me a TO, baby. Where's Dickie V? Got to get a TO, baby.
Yeah, that was
That
crazy.
was unreal. All right, so that was my big note from that is like, you could have had Bill Belichick.
You could have had Bill Belichick. Yeah. I do think it's fireable. I think it's fireable.
It's 100% fireable.
They are now going to miss the postseason because Tampa Bay has Carolina this week. Baker had as many touchdowns as incompletions yesterday. So Tampa Bay is going to win that division. You're going to miss the postseason.
I'm going to say
And then
this.
beyond that, how long did you hang on with Cousins when you could have gone to this kid?
Cousins won him. Cousins beat
But he's
them twice.
For
but
the
was
month.
terrible.
Last month he was not.
By the way,
great.
if you're going to have Cousins, so you have to run his offense.
You do.
They weren't running any of his stuff. They're doing
that's also
shotgun.
true. Yeah, very true. That's true.
I believe. Make a statement right now. You don't even have to go to now. If you went to like the Madden Bowl,
Yeah.
and you took the final 32, each one of them's assigned to a
Yep.
team, and all they're in charge of is clock management. The league is run. You have perfect clock management.
I think you have that right.
And by the way, I'm going to say, so that's like saying those are the best of the best.
Yeah.
If you took 32 13-year-olds who play Madden or college football on the reg,
Yep.
they don't even have to be necessarily stick-wise the best, but that's just they are ingrained in playing that game.
Yeah.
And you made them run better than it is now by professional NFL head coaches.
I know Bootsy would have taken a timeout with 30 seconds. Had two
Yes.
timeouts.
Yes.
You make the argument you take it if you have one, quite honestly. Even at one, it's
Even at one,
worth
you
a
take it 'cause
conversation.
it's half the
because then
time.
you control it, and then you can run perimeter. You
Here's
call
the
through
other
plays.
thing.
You can get
But
organized.
you also then change the calculus right in their mind that now you would have none. They're really going to guard the outside. You can still hit a chunk down the middle. Get up. All you have to do is get up and spike.
one spike. That's it. Yeah. No, it's
Insanity.
It really was.
I was watching it, and I was saying to myself, people, the Buccaneers and our guy Bake, jumping up and down in their rooms.
yeah.
Anybody who's a Falcons fan, and the great Al B, the proprietor of Grindhouse, was like, what
are we doing?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
I mean, you blew it.
You blew it, boy.
You blew it, boy. You blew it bad.
Yeah. There's no bigger.
Get
no,
a feeling
it's-
Daniels he's good.
He's really
Cliff's
good.
dialing up the offense well.
Yeah.
They are locked.
No, but
That was
that was
crazy.
bad.
Other thing from that game that I took away, and I have not, to be fair, first of all, he hasn't been involved much, but I have not watched. It's not like I've been locked in on every Atlanta Falcons game. I don't understand, and could be just me being nuts, but I saw it again last night, and it jumped right off the screen to me, and I don't know if it did for you as well. I don't understand how Kyle Pitts is not 10 targets, 7 catches, 80 yards, and a touchdown every week. He looks like he's a different species human being.
Yeah,
he
he
is
does.
just like perfectly proportioned, but just bigger.
Yep.
Now
Yeah.
he should have
Looks
caught
like a
that
wide
fade
receiver.
down
Yeah,
there.
right.
He's
Yeah.
got to make that catch. But
Yeah,
then
Collinsworth
he catches.
tried going at him because it wasn't high enough, or
The ball got right there.
it hit him in the hand. It dropped.
But then he makes it. But
dropped in a
you
bucket.
just see like his
Yeah.
body and his ability to move
Yeah.
is nuts.
It is.
How does he disappear? I mean, I was looking at his game logs. This guy has been non-existent after a pretty decent start to the season. Completely non-existent. You know what his last 4 games prior to last night were? No catches on 2 targets, 1 catch for 14 yards, 4 catches for 28, and 1 catch for 7 yards.
Yeah, I don't
How
know.
is that possible?
It's wild. Yeah, because I'm like you. I'm not watching every Falcons game, but you watch him last night. You go, that guy should be an all-pro.
How can he be covered?
Yeah, he should be perennial Pro Bowl player.
By the way, Drake London is also excellent, and in my immediate comp for McMillan coming out of Arizona is him, and I think he would be a wonderful addition to any operation.
In operation, yeah.
Like I'm thinking right now, if the draft pick situation holds, if you're in New England, you trade out of there, somebody's going to come get a quarterback, right?
Yes.
And then trade back to the middle, get McMillan, give your guy a big McMillan,
Yeah.
Drake London, Mike Evans-y kind of a guy. By the way, Mike Evans, unbelievable.
Yeah. Yes.
and load up on picks or whatever. But it's gonna be interesting. I mean, in the last 2 weeks, the Raiders and then
the G-men.
Who are these guys? These guys.
Why is Drew Lock in the game?
No idea. Give me Danny
Why
DeVito.
is he in the game?
I don't know.
What are you doing?
Hold on, but he was in the game against Atlanta the week before, and they could not produce a first. The Atlanta had
I don't even let Malik Neighbors play.
Malik Neighbors is good.
You cannot let him play.
He's very good.
They scored 45.
Yeah, I know. I had Indy's defense in the fantasy championships because the Falcons scored like 80 on them last week.
So you
and
lost
they got negative
on Friday,
4.
right? You knew on Friday you lost.
Bowen's the potential.
Remember the one I told you about my wife? Hasn't checked it, hasn't done it. Her versus me in the final.
Stop it. Don't say it.
She won. She played CeeDee Lamb on IR. She played Brandon Ayuk on IR. Played them both in her lineup. Scored 124 and won. She won it. She went 2-13. Has not checked her lineup all year.
This saddens me.
Unless Brock Purdy throws for 400 yards tonight and 6 touchdowns. That's who I got. I have him, but he's got to score like 38.
Who went nuts for her? It's big of you to speak of this publicly.
Well, I don't take shame in it because
you're not playing. It's just unbelievable.
It's just ridiculous.
She played you down 2.
So
she's like, I'll play you down 2 guys.
Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce.
T. Higgins.
Marvin Harrison Jr. and Josh Allen. But Achane gave me nothing. Mixon gave me nothing.
Yeah.
Chase, A.J. Brown, Burrow got me. Oh, no, I'm done. I don't even I have Gibbs. That's it. Gibbs has got to get me 30.
That's PPR?
Yeah.
Totally in play.
He's projected only 19.3.
Okay. Totally in play.
Yeah, Burrow got me 30.
Let's go, Gibbs. By the way, Miss K back-to-back champion.
God bless her.
In her league. First back-to-back champion ever. 3-time champ.
Oh, it's my other one where I'm in the – let's see. What I got Purdy tonight. Yeah, Purdy's got to score 29 tonight.
I'm down. One of the finals I'm in is nuts. Is an ESPN league. So it's like we play again next week.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Now, the good news is my opponent's best player is Saquon, and I don't know if you watched any of that game.
I did.
So they basically were like, we're getting you to 2,000 yards. They're up 34-7 in the fourth, and they ran it with him like 17 plays in a row.
Yep. Yeah, I know. And he got
what
to
if
2,000.
he would have gotten hurt?
So it's insane. So now what are they going to do? Are they going to let him get Dickerson this week?
I don't think so. I don't think he's playing. I think it was like he got to 2,000, and they're like, that's it.
Yeah,
you have a 2,000-yard season.
One other thing on that note, and
by the way, you can't. Those things, 17 and 16, they're not.
That's where I was going with it.
It's got to be. Per
I'm watching the pregame shows yesterday, and they're all talking about how he's going to chase down Eric Dickerson. I'm like, he's playing an extra game.
It's like,
what are we doing?
You remember the movie Kingpin?
Of course. What am I, Heart of Kingpin?
Okay, Randy Quaid's character in Kingpin. They ask him what his average is.
Yeah.
And he has this unbelievable average, and now Woody Harrelson thinks he's going to go hustle with him, but then he tells him, we're the Amish, we do 120%, so I'm actually bowling 12 frames. His score is based on 12 frames, not 10.
That's right. Yeah. All right, should we do this?
I mean, I'm having a great time.
I'm having a great time. Fantastic time. This is going to be the most fun we've had.
Listen, you want to win a game, but I think for our audience, and I know all the players and coaches and everybody in this organization wants to win, we need to win. This is a second 5-game losing streak. It's miserable from that standpoint. But, from the people who are listening who are worried about the Browns in the big picture, you're thinking about next year. And a lot of things went well, and this was a game that, having the outcome it did, you have a top 3 pick now. We haven't had a first-round pick in 3 years, and now it's going to be top 3. So you have an opportunity to do something, I think, pretty great. Now, could we shock the world in Baltimore? It's possible. They're playing for the division. And by the way, the spread is like the Grand Canyon.
Because of our history, that hits different for me. Because of what I know of you, that it's different. It's a little. Okay, we'll explain it in a break.
Are you talking about Larry David?
No. The way. Yes. This was in when we.
Good. I like it's an inside joke that I'm going to get brought back into. I love it.
There was I don't even remember when this was because we've been in this spot for a while now. But there was a time where we reached a point where we lost a certain amount of games, and the injury to Deshaun and all of these things were starting to stack. I think it was after Jameis lost a couple. This was probably late November or something like that. And you and I were talking. This is the part of the season where what the people in the locker room want does not line up with what the
people don't have their blood,
fan
sweat,
base,
and tears in it.
Yes, what the fan base wants
Correct.
Quite honestly, like if you were to hook, people up to a lie detector test and could see people that are doing big picture things are saying, quite honestly, it is better to be. It's better to be 3-14 than it is to be
5-12.
5-12.
Significantly better.
Or
4-11.
It's essentially going to work out to where you get 2 first-round picks, you get a high one here, and then you're picking again at 35 or 4. I mean, that's a money pick. You get a chance to flip this thing pretty quickly. You now could be in the quarterback conversation at the top of the draft, and now you can have a conversation with Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, and all of that stuff. If you want to go down those roads, you theoretically could. But the people downstairs and the people that were out on the field on Sunday don't feel like that at all.
No.
And that's a hard thing to, I think, for folks to understand is they are putting everything that they can into winning a game.
Yep.
And that's what the effort is. And rest assured, what Kevin was trying to do yesterday was to give the fans something to be excited about and to give them one win in their last place at the stadium. The reality is that L. I mean, I'll just tell you, yesterday as I'm watching, the boys are in their Browns jerseys and they're fired up and they're trying to get a win and let's go, and they're despondent about all these things. Conversely, I'm going like, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, big picture, because you can't do anything this year anyway.
Yep.
So I didn't need to see a win there. This is me talking, not for anybody. Just me. I didn't. And so like it's the awkwardness of like having different rooting interests from the boys. I imagine the people that were down at the stadium wanted to win in the worst possible way. My guess is the people that are sitting at home were like, actually, this is kind of okay. So yes. it's a spot nobody wants to be in, and it's awkward. And eventually you move past this season, and then about 1 billion questions are going to be asked about what this thing is going to look like going forward. But in terms of it was just tough. It was a tough watch, obviously, for a lot of reasons.
I think that's one of the things that's ideally, if you were going to marry everybody's interests into one, it was if it ended up being a loss, that it would be a close,
fun,
entertaining. Like nobody in Atlanta's happy right now, but that was a very entertaining game.
Yes, and they know that they have a franchise quarterback, or they feel pretty good that they do, and they can.
Yeah, I just think think of all the money they could have used on pieces around that to round out their team.
Crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, this was not visually pleasing. I'll give a lot of credit to our defense. I thought they played their butts off. Unfortunately, I think we've gotten to the point where, with DTR, who I have a great deal of affection for, there's still a long way to go before he's viable. We just have unfortunately the level of play has just not been at the level you need it to be offensively. I mean, look, these are just facts. We've scored a grand total of 16 points in the last 3 games. Now, he's only started 2 of those, but we scored 9 points in those 2 games. We have not been good enough on offense for quite some time. And even at the end, Jameis's last few games were not offensively boisterous, I would say. It has been good. But I thought our D went out there and competed. I thought they played, by and large, a pretty darn good game. Held the Dolphins to 2 of 11 on 3rd down. You had the 4 sacks. Miles gets to 14.
Awesome.
Delpit plays a great game, makes a lot of plays in the backfield. He goes over 100 tackles. Isaiah McGuire continues to make plays all over the place. I thought you saw Diabate make plays. You saw Devin Bush make plays. So there were a lot of things actually in this game that I liked. Devin Bush had 3 tackles for loss in this game. McGuire had another 2 tackles for loss in this game. So I thought you saw some really good things all in all. It just, unfortunately, there was, some bad stuff. I can't recall a game with 3 intentional groundings. By the way, I don't think any of those 3 were necessarily DTR's fault at all.
Well, clearly the one screen, everybody went right except for the
Pierre Strong
went left. Yeah, clearly on that one.
That was tough. And then in some ways, symbolic of all of it not being on the same page.
Yeah. Operationally, we've been a mess offensively all year. I mean, again, with the procedure, you can't get set while we're snapping the ball. Like, it's just – that's happened from week 1 all the way through. Like,
all the way through.
It's just crazy how you can't get that down, that part down.
I will say, for people that were there, you got to witness, in my opinion, greatness from somebody who is in his 17th season, who has started 242 games, who has 186 tackles for a loss and over 100 sacks in his career in Calais Campbell. That guy is still an absolute unit, game wrecker, dominant, all of it. He was drafted in 2008.
It's crazy.
2008.
And he plays D-line, man. I mean, like,
and he's
those guys,
6'8".
Yeah, just impossible that lasts that long.
Impossible.
Yeah.
And he was still out there wrecking it. He was so bummed after he had a sack. DTR's ability to somehow not go down with a 6'8", 350-pound guy pulling him down and throw the ball. Granted, there was nobody on that side of the field, so it was the grounding. And you saw Calais Campbell, they had a close-up, and he was just like, I just want the sack, bro. Just like, let me get the sack.
Let me get a sack here, man.
I think, by the way, here's an adjustment I'd like to propose.
All right.
It would be not applicable to the screen grounding.
Okay.
But in the sense where you're a defender who has a sack, and the guy kind of spins, throws out of it, and it's grounding, that player should get a sack.
I love the spirit of what you're saying. I hate anything more that's subjective about this sport.
I don't think that's subjective. Fine, on any intentional ground. So that guy, whoever the closest was, just like you get a sack, if a guy gets flushed out of the pocket, runs out of bounds a yard behind the line of scrimmage, and you're the closest one, you get a sack.
Yeah, I'm open to that.
So fine, any intentional grounding, other thing. Any pass interference, that receiver gets the yards. And the quarterback. They get those are yards they get.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with either one of those.
If you run by a guy, you're going to catch a bomb. And
which pass interference do you like better, the college or the pro?
In terms of it being a spot foul or 15? I think I like the pro because if it's a bomb,
you're right.
You would just tackle him.
Just tackle him, yeah. They probably get that right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you probably have that right. Snoop looked good. He was efficient.
Well, wouldn't you know, 84.62% highest completion percentage of his career in a single game. Career is about 63%.
Yeah.
That was the most efficient passing game of his entire career.
Well, as you said when we acquired him, Pro Bowler. We had some injuries. Denzel with a shoulder, Jordan Hicks in concussion, and then Jerome Ford with an ankle all exited the game.
Yeah, Jerome Ford came back in, but then played, I think, one play, and that was it. Definitely unfortunate when the injuries continue to mount up for this football team. Denzel on the tackle, he went to the sideline immediately, but had to come baback on the field because I think it was like the end of the half or something. And then that was obviously it for him. You hate to see that, obviously. Yeah, that's what you say. It's a war of attrition. We're not even in. We've got guys dropping like flies, and the task gets no easier this week going to Baltimore to take on the Ravens, who are playing as good a football as anybody in the league. I mean,
well, yeah, and they're going to play inspired.
Yeah, they got to win.
Yeah,
they have to win the game.
Yeah, no, you're going to see 8.
Let me tell you something. I am devastated and very disappointed that we are not in these playoffs. But this Final Four, whatever that Final Four ends up looking like in the AFC, and potentially, honestly, even in the NFC, they are going to be awesome. These are going to be awesome playoffs. The only potential dud I see, and that's not really a dud, would be.
Well, I know you didn't watch it, but it was on opposite us. Vikings Packers was unreal.
We had it on in the booth. It's great.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable game.
You had this week. You had the Cincy game that was unreal.
When they trotted poor Cade out there.
I thought he was going to make it.
I didn't. And I'm like, why would you take it out of – why are you taking it out of Burrow?
Wasn't that long of a field goal.
They screwed up. I wouldn't have let him kick a 28-yarder. They screwed up. By the way, Chase Brown gets hurt trying to not score. I mean, and then the very next play, Burrow just sneaks it in. Like, what are we doing, folks? Do we not know? Like, it's clock management 101.
That was insane.
That was crazy.
And they got away with it because they won. But if that had got them eliminated from the playoffs, it's
and then there's
malfeasance.
all the people the next Sunday were all saying, like, yeah, you can't leave that much, or you're never going to stop Burrow in overtime. Actually, they did stop Burrow in overtime.
Yes.
It was the next possession that they scored on.
Yeah, because they missed a field goal in the first one.
Yeah, it's like.
And that was opening possession, so that's why you have to kick the field goal. Because I don't know with the way Higgins and Chase are playing right now and as accurate as Burrow is,
By the way, he would be the MVP if their record were 11-5. He would be the MVP.
I also thought Denver's approach in overtime was lacking.
No kidding. Yes,
Go
it was.
win it.
Go win it. What are you doing?
You don't have to win it. Just you have to be aggressive because you have to keep moving the sticks.
Yeah.
They were playing for a tie.
They were.
But you still have to get the first down.
Right.
You got to be.
Yeah, I know. I agree. What else did I have for you on this? Oh, I think fantasy football has to rethink when the end of it should be. Because I think
Everybody played this week, though. It has to end this week. It cannot go next
I
week.
actually wouldn't even mind if it ended last week. If you look at like what happened everybody did play, but like there were so many teams now who have that are so decimated by injury. I mean, the idea of like fantasy championships being won by
Amir Abdullah.
was
huge.
He was huge.
He was huge.
No, it was very. I mean, Baker by far the best. Well, Darnold was pretty damn good too.
Daniels
put up because he ran.
Lamar,
Burrow, yeah, there were several. All right, there you go.
T. Higgins. won a
Oh,
lot of
we're going to
fantasy
play it
championships.
Saturday at 4:30.
I know.
I knew that you would.
How about it?
So there you go. So our game got moved into 4:30. Is that the first game Saturday? First NFL?
Yeah. Which means we will be the first. We'll have the first ability to get on to 2025 before anybody else. Because the Ravens, they still are going on.
Well, Gibby's talking about doing a Browns Daily on Sunday. Just officially turn the page. Come in here.
I'm in.
He's got to be here anyway.
I got to be here anyway.
Locker room cleanout day. Come on, boys.
I'm going to be here New Year's Day. You want to come by? You want to pop on the mic? Do some work? Fine.
No.
Great. We'll do a Buckeye pregame.
Actually, I'm sure that's what's going to be on in our spot, isn't it?
I
New
would
Year's
assume.
Day, yeah, because I'm only on till 11:30 New Year's Day because of that.
Yeah, we got you guys.
Yeah.
2 to 3:30, Buckeye game day.
There you go.
Perfect.
There you go.
No one gets hurt from that.
There you go. All right, so the team is off today. They're back in the building tomorrow, which will be their Wednesday.
Yeah, so everything moves up. Tomorrow is a Wednesday. Wednesday is a Thursday. Thursday is a Friday.
This midweek, Christmas,
Friday we travel.
New
so
Year's
now we
Eve
got to
stuff
figure
is
out our
really
show
screwing
on
my head
Friday.
up. Yeah.
Unless someone has a page they want to lend us, we're going to have to leave halfway through. We got to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, I really look forward to talking. I think bring Cadre Ishmael on for a half hour on Friday. Let's do that.
Would you like him to take a
I'd like
victory
to
lap?
do 30 minutes with him. That'd be fun. Those are your hot topics today, presented by University Hospitals, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. Take a look at the playoff picture. It's pretty simple now after everything that happened this weekend. Pretty straightforward. We'll get into that coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Leaf Filter, the official gutter guard of your Cleveland Browns. Go to leaffilter.com/GoBrowns to schedule your free gutter inspection and receive your exclusive promo offer. That is leaffilter.com/GoBrowns. Visit today. So, because of the events of the weekend, the playoff picture is pretty well sorted in terms of what we have to look forward to this weekend.
Yeah.
Let's start in our conference, the AFC. We knew that Kansas City, they have the bye. They're good. They're the one. They host Denver this week because Indianapolis inexplicably gave up 45 points to the Giants. The Colts are gone.
Gone.
The Bengals, it needs overtime. They stay alive, but it's no chance, quite honestly.
Miami's not losing the Jets.
Miami's not losing to the Jets.
How about that performance?
Rodgers took himself out.
Benched himself.
Maybe it's time to play Tyrod. 33-0 to 40-0. Maybe it's time to play Tyrod. I'm good. I'll see you down the road. Jeez, what a mess.
All right,
but
so
Denver also plays. Denver has first shot at being the 7, and they can do so by beating Kansas City, who is not going to play their guys.
Has it been said?
I thought I was reading this morning.
Well, there are 3 teams out of the top 4 in the AFC that are likely to sit their guys and not play competitive football whatsoever.
Go over who's playing for nothing this weekend in the
Kansas
AFC
City,
playoffs.
Buffalo, and Houston. Nothing.
0. Locked in to those spots.
Nothing.
It is done.
Denver could. The Chargers are playing to stay in the 6th seed as opposed to drop to the 7. Because if Denver wins and the Chargers lose, Denver is the 6 and the Chargers are the 7.
Who would you rather? Would you go if you're the Chargers? Rather go at Buffalo or at Baltimore? Either way, tough sledding, brother.
Yeah, I'd rather have the decision made for me.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that.
I'd probably say Buffalo.
By the way, quite honestly,
the AFC's
like if I'm Baltimore, I would rather play Houston than the Chargers.
1,000,000,000%, but you don't have that
You don't have that luxury. Then also because the way the schedule is done, if Pittsburgh were playing ahead of us, before us, they're not. They're playing. What do they have? The late game. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati's a late game. So Pittsburgh will be able to. They should have had us and Pittsburgh play at the same time.
Yeah. Why do you think they did that, Gibby? That was your whole thing. We had to play at the same time because now if the Ravens win,
Pittsburgh's playing for nothing.
Well, they're still playing to stay in the 5, which is valuable.
Oh.
They're still playing. That's why they're doing it. They're still playing to stay in the 5. No, they need to win no matter what.
Yeah, it didn't. I didn't.
Yeah, that's it.
When I saw it this morning, I'm like, really? How are we not at the same time?
Because let me tell you something. There is no bigger difference in any playoff bracket this year than going from 5 to 6 in the AFC.
Yeah.
By the way, the 4 in the NFC is a horrific draw. You're going to get the Lions or the Vikings.
Yeah,
that's a tough draw for
Bakes.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. So Baltimore will give their best to us on Saturday, and then Pittsburgh and Cincinnati are going to play a quite inspired football game. Pittsburgh could be less inspired because there's nothing. Baltimore has the tiebreaker. Well, they're a game up, so Pittsburgh could punt on that. And Tomlin said that today. He goes, "That's not the plan." But we could make that decision. I saw him available today. We could make that decision as it goes along. That once we have that information.
That's exactly why the NFL should have put these two on at the same time.
I tend to agree with you.
I do agree with you.
They should have been both Sunday at 1.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or ESPN's done it before where that you could do the staggered start thing. They do that on Monday Night Football. Start one a half hour after the other, and then at least it's just a half-hour difference. But, yeah, because Pittsburgh in real time, if Baltimore boat races us, and they're 18.5-point favorites, by the way.
Largest point spread since 2021 for any game in the NFL.
What was that game?
It was Arizona and Houston Texans. Arizona was 6-1, and the Texans were 0-7 at the time.
Holy cow.
The year before
I would not
Stroud.
have got that.
The General John McClain posted that earlier.
Year before Stroud.
And who would have been quarterbacking Arizona?
Kyler.
Was he there?
Yeah, they started off. They were gangbusters.
Was that long ago we saw him at the Combine? That was the Combine right before COVID.
Dude, Kyler.
That's 20.
Kyler,
right,
brother.
20.
Kyler torched us in 19.
God, that's right.
Wasn't that 19?
He followed Bake there.
Freddie
was the year after Baker, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the year after Baker. He was 19. His
He stood
rookie
on
year,
the
we
stairs,
went to
combine.
Arizona
We're taller
in
than
like
he was.
November or December.
God, these years go
And
by.
he and Kenyon Drake body bagged. And that was the game supposedly. Like Odell and Jarvis were talking to like Pat Pete. And were
Oh, you're right.
Come
Yeah,
get me.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Good Lord.
that was 19.
The years stacked.
It was a wonderful weekend at
It
the
was a great
resort
weekend.
there.
Yeah, at the Biltmore. It was lovely.
Then we played.
It was a good party.
Yeah. So if Baltimore hammers us Saturday, then Pittsburgh is playing for just quite honestly nothing. And then at that point, Cincinnati, which is still playing for sort of something. I mean, they're going 9-8.
I mean, that's why they put the Dolphins and the Broncos games on at the same time.
yeah.
Why is Seattle still listed on this thing if they're eliminated? Because the Falcons, nobody can get in as a wild card. The Falcons either get in or
they're
Tampa.
done,
That's
done.
it.
No, they're done. It's the
No.
NFC is set.
No. If the Bucks lose to the Saints, which they won't,
right. It's between those
and
two.
Atlanta beats Carolina, Atlanta wins the division.
Yeah, I think we listed every team up till the.
So the
final.
only thing that's if the Lions win tonight, Philly's locked into the 2 seed. If the Niners beat the Lions, Philly could, I guess, potentially still get the 1 seed.
With a Minnesota so Philly has tiebreakers over Detroit and Minnesota.
Well, otherwise they would say
You're right. It would say
they would be locked into the 2 seed if they hadn't. Just like it says the Bills have clinched the 2 seed. It doesn't say that, which means they can't go backwards, so they only can go up.
Yeah.
So and then Minnesota plays Detroit next week. So I'm guessing that means if Detroit loses, they go to 13-3.
and then beats Minnesota. They're all 14 and 3.
They're all 14-3, and Philly must have
the tiebreaker. They think they do because I think we were going through that.
Well, no, I was going to say no matter what, either the Lions or the Vikings is the number 1. Eagles are number 2 no matter what. Eagles.
Oh, is that known?
Why doesn't it say that?
Well, no, because the Lions only have 2 losses. The Vikings only have 2.
I understand, but
Yeah.
the
So
Lions could lose tonight to San Francisco
Yeah.
and
Yeah, they're
then
not
beat
going
the
to.
Vikings,
Yeah, they're not going.
and then beat the Vikings, and they could all be 14-3.
Sure. Okay.
In which case, Philly would go to the 1.
But they're not going to lose tonight.
Well, no, I wouldn't think so, but I think it's
Viability.
still in play. Yeah, I mean, I do think that is still there's still a roadmap for that because there's not a clinched 1 seed for the Vikings or the Lions, so that would be the case.
Well, because they aren't. It's one of those 2. I'm looking at something now that says the Eagles are locked in, but then why wouldn't it just say that?
So Philly is locked into the 2. They can't. They
I'm
can't
trying to
above
read
the
it.
2.
Nobody. This stuff should be much more easy to understand. I thought Philly was locked in the 2, and then I looked on here. Why would it say clinched for the Bills, but not for?
Yeah, clinched 2 seed on the AFC with the Bills, whereas Philly should say clinched 2 seed if that's what they are.
All right, hold on. NFC. That's AFC scenarios. NFC. NFC. Washington's ahead of Green Bay based on conference record. Dallas is ahead of Arizona. Who cares about that? Chicago, blah, blah, blah.
You know who does the best one, quite honestly?
Who?
Is ESPN. They'll put it right here. All right, here you go.
The Eagles have clinched the NFC East and the number 2 seed in the NFL postseason, per USA Today. So that's my bad. I just forgot to write it down.
Oh, you added those little notes?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so I thought they
Okay,
did.
so they're the
I
2.
thought that's what I had thought. I had written that down because that's what I thought going in. So they're the 2. So the one's either the Vikings or the
Vikings or
Lions.
Lions. The winner's the one.
So
loses.
Philly has nothing to play for.
Which, by the way, would set up will set up
That's
a
what we
situation where Detroit and Minnesota will play for the 1 seed in the final week, and then play again.
And
if
they play
they
for
follow-
the 1 seed, irregardless.
Yep. And if that would then set up a scenario where they would play the loser there would play Tampa in the 4-5 game, they would be favored in that game, although it would be in Tampa, and then potentially would have to play each other again.
I think
The other thing that's crazy is if it's Minnesota that loses to Detroit, Darnold and Baker were in the same quarterback room in Carolina
in 2022,
and both were jettisoned.
yeah.
And now One is 14-2 and currently the 1 seed in the NFC, and the other just threw 5 touchdowns and against 5 completions in a game over the weekend. They were both in Carolina, and Carolina said, "We don't need either one."
Also, not sure if you recall this from this season, but the Buccaneers moved to 3-1 after Week 4 after back-to-back wins over the Lions and the Eagles.
Oh, that's right. That's right, because they have the weird. They do have that. Yeah. So the NFC, as it stands right now, Minnesota the 1, Philly the 2, Rams the 3, Tampa Bay the 4, Lions are the 5, Commies are the 6, Packers are the 7. I said this about a month ago, not in terms of, I'm not talking about your mortgage, but some soft earned on the Rams about a month ago to win the NFC. It's not awful. And the odds were astronomical.
Yep.
Like their path as it stands right now would be them against the Commies in the first round, and then they'd have to play Philly, which would be brutal. Philly's going to play Green Bay. Think about that. Philly against Green Bay in the first round.
Yeah, it's a tough first round.
And we don't know what's going on with Hurts.
Right.
Man.
They'll rest up. Washington and Green Bay could still flip-flop. If Washington were to lose to Dallas and Green Bay were to beat the Bears, they could still flip-flop. Right?
Yes. Yeah. So Green Bay could go up to the 6
Yeah.
with the win if Washington were to lose to the Cowboys.
Are the Rams locked into the 3?
They are.
They are locked into 3.
Well, they're a game up on Tampa. So I don't know. I don't know if they have the tiebreaker over Tampa.
No, so they do not. They do not have the tiebreaker. So they're still in play to end up as the 3 or the 4. So the Rams need to win.
They need to win. They need to beat Seattle. And then who knows what Seattle's.
I mean, the NFC playoffs are all good. The only kind of the top of the AFC is loaded. Now, Chargers are no slouch. Denver just gave Cincinnati a heck of a game.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh-Houston would probably be the least appealing television game as it stands right now with what we know about how those teams are playing.
Though, because it's
of course. I'm just saying for
our aesthetically not pleasing.
Yeah.
And that's just because what we've seen from Stroud the last month.
Yeah.
Because other than that, it would certainly happen.
NFC is
they're all bangers.
Yeah. Because I'll tell you what, Tampa plays a fun brand of football. It's stupefying they lost to Dallas. Tampa's ideal scenario is actually, I think Tampa, and they played Detroit last year, I actually think Tampa has a better chance of beating the Lions than they do the Vikings. Because the blitz has been an issue for them, and that's Minnesota. Flores is just nonstop, relentless blitzing. Man. Darnold Bake would be epic.
That's crazy, man.
They're both in Carolina, which is interesting. You don't hear people slamming the Jets about Darnold.
Oh, no.
Ever.
Or Carolina, who had them both. Carolina could have just picked one of them
and
kept all their picks.
Oh, yeah.
Kept all their picks.
But I think it feels like both of them needed that process to not go necessarily so well.
I think both of them needed to go to quarterback places who nurture the position, McVay and Shanahan, and show them how to play football again. And in both of those instances, it's not a coincidence that Bake goes to McVay, Darnold goes to Shanahan.
Kyle. They
bounce out of it and look where they're at.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a coincidence that's how it worked out. By the way, if they were here, Vikings were here in August. We had Kwesi on with us the morning they found McCarthy. Out J.J. McCarthy was done for the year. He came on with us, with AB, and we did that interview with him graciously. He did that interview because we agreed to do that interview, and he did it anyway. That was the first time that he had talked since the McCarthy injury. They came here with the intent for McCarthy to play the number 1 quarterback reps against us in the joint practices. So they were leaning in that direction.
Oh, yeah.
And now, what a wonderful problem to have. I don't know how you let Darnold walk. I don't think you can.
I don't think they can.
So you just push back the McCarthy a couple of years like Jordan Love.
Is there a world where a team near the top of this draft sends that pick to Minnesota for McCarthy?
I don't know that you would you do McCarthy coming off of – would you take somebody who'd had that injury at the top of the draft? Probably not the top, maybe middle of the first.
Okay.
And then they get the McMillan kid for Arizona, and
They don't
Darnold
need
could
another.
throw it.
They probably need.
Darnold could throw to those
You know,
three.
they should get if it was near the top, you take like the corner from Michigan.
Yeah. It's
They
have
want
a lot
to
of
keep
options
Darnold.
now.
So if they want to keep Darnold, there's a world in which it's not like Darnold's old.
Well, no, and they're paying. Honestly, they can afford to do both, but they could trade McCarthy to someone else who liked him in the process, and away you go. Yeah, they have a lot of options. It's never a bad thing. Like, this isn't a bad thing for them, and he's clearly got that place wrapped around his finger. You saw the post game stuff, and he's been great.
Oh man, you saw when he came in the locker room. Yeah. They love.
There's a lesson to be
There's
learned
something
there,
in that organization though. They love their court because they loved Kirk Cousins.
Loved
there.
him. Yeah, it might be O'Connell. Maybe he just guy puts guys in position to succeed and they thrive.
He was on our staff here.
Kevin was?
Yeah, Kevin O'Connell.
When was he here?
Quarterbacks coach.
In one of the when Kyle was here?
Was he? Hold on. He was. I can't remember if it was with him or if it was after that. He was a quarterback coach in 2015. So, yeah, it was the year after that. John DeFilippo would have been the offensive coordinator, and he was the the quarterback coach for Josh McCown, who is now his quarterback coach.
That's right.
In Minnesota.
Jeez. Yeah.
How about that?
Pretty wild.
And O'Connell was in Washington as well. He went from here to the Niners, right? To Washington, to the Rams with McVay, to
it's all
Minnesota.
From that same operation. I mean, LaFleur, all of them.
All of them, yeah. Yeah, Josh McCown is the quarterback coach of the Minnesota Vikings.
Boost your game day this season with the Ballybet Sportsbook app. Place your first bet at 25 or more, and you get 150 back in bonus bets. Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Second hour, Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Bo here from my friends at Jim Beam. This year, to celebrate Friendsmas, Jim Beam wants to share a little cheer. Purchase a bottle of any Jim Beam family brands and receive a $10 rebate to use towards your holiday festivities. Whether you're getting together with friends at your favorite bar, buying ingredients for cocktails at home, or visiting the Jim Beam Friendsmas shop, Jim Beam is here to help you have the best Friendsmas ever. Visit JimBeamFriendsmasRebate.com to learn more and to redeem your $10. Jim Beam, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Copyright 2024, James B. Beam Distilling Company, Claremont, Kentucky. Drink smart. And now here is Coach Stefanski from the podium.
Okay, injury.
You're down 5 minutes.
Drum Ford, Denzel shoulder, Jordan Hicks concussion. We'll update the rest of the guys as we see them today and tomorrow. Obviously, not good enough. You got to come away with a win. Got to come away with taking care of the football, putting ourselves in position to go find a way to win, and we didn't do that. So that's the disappointing part. The results are what they are. That's frustrating. But with that, I'll take any questions.
You had a decision to either kick, go for it, fourth and goal from the 3. Why did you decide to go for it instead of 6 points?
Yeah, just with that field position, I think it's really important to get the 7 there from the 3-yard line.
On those 4th downs, I think you guys are 0 for 4. I know the one was in the end zone, but did you see anything on those 3? I know the other 3, I know there's a huge plays in the game.
A turnover on downs is a turnover. I know it doesn't officially go down as a turnover, but you're putting your defense back there on the field, and you got to come through. When it's 4th and 1, the advantage has to be towards the offense, and you have to come through there.
I saw you talking to Dorian on the sidelines after the pick. Obviously, ill-advised throw for him there. What did you see it?
Yeah, I think, obviously you're always at every play, you're looking at it and thinking about the decision and the accuracy and all those things, and just making sure that he's understanding in those roles when you have to locate defenders. I think that was really the biggest thing there on that play.
Kevin, why is he struggling with some of the real short basic stuff, whether it's, throwing out of the backfield, throwing it into the flat, not even just going down the field, but it just seems he's really struggling with timing on those shorter routes.
Yeah, we'll look at it, and it's not for lack of effort. He's putting in the work. We'll look to help him in any way we can to score some points.
Kevin, you determined to have him finish this game.
Why? Just felt like that's what was best for the team.
I know it's early, but will you start him next week in Baltimore?
Yeah, I won't get into anything for next week, Mary Kay.
Kevin, on the intentional groundings, I know that it's not just on the quarterback, but does he have to sort of, in those situations try to, is there something he can do to avoid those?
Well, certainly you want to avoid those. Those are big penalties with the loss of down and the yardage. So we'll continue to coach him up, and there's obviously, as everybody knows, there's certain times that a sack is okay. You don't love it, but sometimes you have to do that. It's like anything with a young quarterback, teaching when to throw it away, when to make that decision. So we'll keep coaching them.
Kevin, how do you get your guys ready with one game to go and things looking so bad? How do you get them ready to play a team like Baltimore next week?
Yeah, it's no different than every single week, Jeff. It's the NFL. It's a privilege to play in this league. It's a privilege to coach in this league. We love the competitive nature of these games. It's a division opponent. That's just how we operate.
Miles got 2 sacks to get to that 14, making a little history. One of the few positives from today. Just what can you say about the consistency he brings in week in and week out?
Yeah, plays hard, and I think he got real close on a few field goal block attempts as well, and I think that's a great measure of how hard you're playing is how hard you go on that unit, and he's given us everything he's got.
Kevin, you were a fan of Snoop throughout the preseason and all of that. What did you see in Tyler today?
Yeah, he made a great play there on that 3rd down. We brought everybody. He made somebody miss, and natural ability took over, but obviously he made a few plays today.
Kevin, you guys have obviously supported Dustin through his struggles this season, but seeing him make that field goal, what did that just mean for confidence-wise?
Yeah, I like we've talked about with Dustin, always work through this with him. He's a veteran. He's kicking it really well in practice. Obviously just had that one opportunity in this one, but a veteran that we really trust.
Kevin, fans will take consolation in moving up to number 3 in the draft order. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I have no comment on that, Tony.
How about with Denzel? Do you think he could be lost, for next week?
Yeah, it's way too early to tell on injuries.
Pierre looked like he left with about 2 minutes left.
Yeah, evaluating him for a head injury, but I don't have any information past that.
When did the injury to Denzel occur? Because We found out about it right, while you guys were on offense to start second half. Was it late in that?
I believe it was right at that last possession in the second quarter.
Kevin, I know it's all been disappointing, but the fact that you go 2-6 at home, you talked about trying to come out of here with the win. Just what's that frustration level like, especially after going 8-1 last year?
Yeah, I mean, we've got the best home field advantage in the NFL with our crowd and how into it they are. We haven't done enough as a football team to keep them into it. So that's the frustrating part. I really wanted to get this one for them in this building, being the last one at home. So it's frustrating.
Obviously, you committed to getting Judy the ball. 18 targets, was that the number you envisioned?
Jerry's our best player. He on offense. We're trying to get him the ball any which way we can.
All right, there you go. We'll do one thought around every NFL game this weekend coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Want to get your kids involved with the Dog Pound? Join the Browns Backers, presented by University Hospitals Rainbows Babies and Children's, in association with Cardinal Credit Union, the official kids club for kids age 4 to 12. Join the Junior Browns Backers and purchase our premium membership by December 31st. To score an invite to our premium members-only event, visit juniorbrownsbackers.com to join today. Time for one thought around every NFL game this week. And actually, before we do that, I did see Schefter with this in the last minute that Mike Vrabel's consulting agreement with us expired today per league source. So Schefter reporting that. Obviously, Mike is his name is at the top of every head coaching position, even ones that aren't open. A lot of reporting this weekend in New England that they would love to have it there, but obviously that job is still currently filled. But
expired today.
Isn't that weird? Yeah.
It
is the Adam Schefter.
He was taking part in Taco Day when I saw him earlier.
Well, I suppose there's nothing preventing him from hanging around as long as he wants.
It's just so odd. It's like it's 12:31.
Yeah,
12:30.
And with a week to go.
Well, yeah, there's that too, Gibby.
Yeah, it's not over yet. We're all in this together.
That's right. That's right. You don't get out of you don't get out of here that easy. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Interesting.
he will. There, I'm sure there's all sorts of. I mean, everyone would want to talk to him.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, he'll have some options. I think. So what's open right now? Chicago Jets. What
The
am I
Jets
missing?
are talking to Riverboat Ron
and
Rex Ryan.
By the way,
do you have to have like your initials be RR? Is that how you get an interview there?
I don't know. What a mess.
The search firm is being done by a site, or it's on X. They're called the 33rd Team. We've used their content a lot in the off season.
Isn't
for
that
the last 1,000-yard rusher on every team?
Well, that's his old GM runs that.
Mike
Tannenbaum
along with
runs
Rick Spielman, are conducting this.
And then isn't that where Monson and Palazzolo went? 33rd Team? I think they did. I'm pretty sure they did. I think Palazzolo and Monson both
I'm
went
kind of
there.
like,
Or
are these the
PFF.
results you're getting back?
I don't know, but what
Is
that
this
does
what
is
your
what that
numbers
does
are
it allows insulation. If the decision is bad, you can say, well, the consulting firm did it. It wasn't us. That's the beauty of a consulting firm, insulation.
Who else?
I've seen
Someone else
athletic directors
fired
do
a
it for
coach.
years.
Hold on.
The G-men still have their
Vegas
coach.
hasn't fired their coach yet.
No, Vegas still has their
No.
guy. Tennessee's got their guy.
Chicago fired theirs.
Yeah, I said Chicago, New York. Is anybody else fired right now? Or just those two?
Carolina?
No.
Canales is there.
No, it's
Why
just
do I
those
think
two.
there was a third opening?
I don't think so. Unless there's one. I don't know. There could be one we're missing. I don't know. I'd have to go look at every. Chargers no, Pats no, Bengals no, Broncos no, Rams no, Cards no, Bills no, Jets yes, Raiders no, Saints no, Giants no, Colts no.
Saints
Eagles.
yes.
Saints did?
That's
Fire
it.
Allen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they're working on an interim right now.
Oh, that's okay. So Saints is the third.
Yeah, because that guy won in his debut against us.
I mean, you'd think the Cowboys would, but who knows? Like, if you're the Cowboys, you
Wasn't
go-
it? I thought it wasn't his debut. I thought didn't he win like the week before? I think he won I think his debut was the week before. He looks like he could be in like Sopranos.
Either way.
If you're Jarrah, like in Mike's
that's right. We
out
were
there,
banking on, like-
and you got Dak coming back. Like, isn't that where you make sure Mike goes? Dallas? I don't know. I would. Chicago's
Did
probably
you
the
see
best
Jerry
job,
in
most
his box
talent.
yesterday surrounded by Eagles fans?
Getting yelled at.
It is insane.
Greatest flex I've ever among the greatest flexes I've ever seen is when they were doing Hard Knocks Cowboys, and he wouldn't hold the chopper for his kid, who's like 70. He can get his own way to the stadium. Chopper goes when I go. Amazing. Love that. All right, ready?
Sure. One thought. Week 17 in the National Football League to Saturday's games. I heard Chris Rose yesterday on NFL Network. G-Man, did you hear it? Chris Rose was like, what exact? Hold on. This is the greatest line from our boy.
So I'm in the elevator at the stadium going down for availability in the locker room, and I'm NFL Network's on the TV, and Chris Rose talking about the Chargers-Patriots game goes like, I called this game, and I want to erase it from my memory. That's
He
how
did.
bad it was.
And I'm pretty sure they got, when he and the Hoff did it, it was Pats Jags. I'm pretty sure he got the Pats twice.
Twice, yeah.
And this one was just.
I still think Drake May can play. I think he's going to be just fine. They
The
just have
rest
no
of that
weapons,
operation.
so they are in a position where they're going to pick at the top of this draft, and they should put that up for bid, and then they should be able to get multiple weapons for him in this draft because they're going to pick it again at the top of the second round. You could get an Emeka Buka there at the top of the second, kid out of Ohio State. You could get a weapon if you drop back, depending on how this all shakes out in terms of who's really quarterback needy. I mean, the Giants may have to now come up to get a player and to be able to pick one of the two quarterbacks they want because of how stupid they were yesterday. The Raiders as well, where they get a 1 this year and 2 2s. I mean, they're going to be in a nice spot. I like Drake May. I think they'll be fine. Then get him a lot of weapons in the next 2 drafts.
Zagura, one thought.
I love Justin Herbert.
I know you do.
I've loved him from the get-go, from the jump. I think he's awesome. I think what he is doing with, let's be honest about it, if you were ranking pass-catching cores in the NFL, they're in the bottom 4.
Right.
Maybe bottom.
Them in New England, I mean, they got McConkey, but that's it. And he's a rookie. I mean, there's nothing.
Nothing.
Mm-mm.
And he is still lighting it up this year. 21 touchdowns, 3 picks.
Yeah.
I mean, how do some people have these? Some of the touchdown interception ratios in the league this year are just absolutely wild to me.
Yeah.
I think they're going to address that this offseason, and then he's great. And Harbaugh's just been such a force for them. They dominate. They play great football week in, week out. They're going to be a tough out. They're a team for a completely different reason. Nobody wants to face the Bengals because of what Burrow, Chase, and Higgins can do. Nobody wants to face this Chargers team because they're going to bring it. It's going to be tough.
It's a full day.
They got, Derwin James is playing well. Khalil Mack's still playing well. Bosa's still playing well. Thule, number 45. I'm calling him Thule 45. That guy's playing well. They are a nobody wants that. They're going to be physical. It's going to be tough. They're big up front. J.K. Dobbins still has a little bit of juice. Even our Gus Edwards still has a little bit of juice. They're tough, man. They are tough.
Next up, Bengals 30, Broncos 24 in overtime. Just a quick thought from both of you since we talked about this already.
Such a great game. This is like when the NFL is at its best. It's this. Bummer for Cade, but what just a lot of fun. My big takeaway from this is that Chase Brown should have had a touchdown and not been injured if that was the way that they were going to go.
Yeah.
And if they weren't going that way, like just out of respect for him, they should have knelt the next few plays, forced him to use the timeout, then taken 40 seconds off the clock.
Yeah.
Just that ending sequence there, stupefying. But you talk about drama. Bo Nix, a heave to Marvin Mims, keeps it going. A doink. Then they got a little conservative. Denver did.
By the way,
they should have gone for 2. Yeah, I agree with that. Should have gone for 1 play, 2 yards. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Bishop.
Joe Burrow would have won the MVP, and this is a borderline malfeasance in Cincinnati that they've wasted this year out of Burrow and Chase. Chase is going to win the Triple Crown. He's at 1-6, just for perspective, he's at 117, 16-12, and 16 touchdowns. By the way, T. Higgins also has 10 receiving touchdowns.
And T. Higgins has played in, I want to say, 11 games.
He's played in 11 games, and he has 10 touchdowns of his own. So they would have a 1,600 and like an 1,150. It's nuts. And Burrow's at 46-41, 42 touchdowns, 8 picks, 70% completions. And the fact that they allowed this defense to bury them is crazy. And the fact that it's going to come down to if they just had beaten they could have beat Kansas City when they played them. They wouldn't be in this spot. Baltimore. Oh, my God. The Redskins. The Commies game. Just so many. It's crazy.
Here's the thing. They didn't let this defense get bad, but unfortunately, this is a situation kind of like you have in Dallas, right, where the owner is basically the general manager.
Yeah.
They've used over the last 3 seasons, I think it's something like 7 to 10 top 3 round picks on the defense, and none of them have panned out.
They did the same thing with the offensive line. When for a while there they were just drafting offensive linemen, Billy Price, Jackson Carman, one after another, and like none of them. Who's the kid out of Alabama, who's the left tackle who they drafted? They just kept drafting him, and it never hit. Never.
Who's the guy that loved Joe Thomas? Is that what you're talking about? Or is that Jackson?
Jonah Williams.
Jonah Williams.
The one I was talking
about.
Another
73.
First round. Yeah, 73.
Love Joe Thomas.
Like they just And so they're just going to waste it because there's no chance they make the postseason. And it's just,
I think Zach Taylor should be very thankful that the Brown family doesn't have money to buy him out.
I don't even know if it's on him. I mean, I think it's on them.
I think it has a lot more to do with personnel decisions than coaching because Lou Anarumo
I mean,
can coach
he's in charge of the offense,
and
and the offense is elite. Crazy elite.
Rams 13, Cardinals 9. If you didn't stay up late Saturday night to watch this, actually a very fun little ending and a great comeback in the second half. Bo Bishop, one thought.
Like, do Rams history in our lifetime, do all of it combined, and then just do McVay. They've got Greatest Show on Turf with Vermeil and
Kurt Warner.
I forget the
Mike
guy who followed
Martz.
him. Mike Martz.
Yeah.
They have that tiny little window where they were elite. And then other than that, if you take the McVay part out, it's a mess. And McVay wins every year. He just wins every year.
Don't forget about Eric Dickerson and Vince Ferragamo.
Well, that's
Jim Everett.
That's our very young lifetime.
Willie Anderson.
Willie Flipper Anderson, Henry Ellard. Yeah.
Henry Ellard.
Yeah, that was solid. But, like, they've had a lot of years of just Nowheresville, and McVay, they win every year.
Am I making this up in my mind? Did the bus run there for a little while?
He did. He was a first-round pick of them.
And then gets to the
went
Steelers.
Pittsburgh.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So, no, I was not. In this one, Trey McBride finally put to bed one of the great statistical anomalies of our lifetime as he finally caught a touchdown in this game. Trey McBride, by the way, folks, this year, in case you're wondering, second-year tight end who was a second-round pick out of Colorado State, has 104 catches, third most in the NFL for 1,081 yards and one singular touchdown.
That's crazy.
Kyler Murray, if Kyler Murray doesn't fire a 90-mile-an-hour fastball off his dome that ends
that
in
ricocheted
the Rams
into a pick.
picking it off in the end zone.
Yeah, he did throw
yeah.
missile.
By the way, Puka Nacua, and these are those ones that change your whole operation, right? They picked him. He was the 177th pick in that draft, and he's been just sensational.
Sometimes you have to be lucky, too.
Yeah, right.
That you got to land on some of those.
Cooper Kupp, by the way, has fallen off of a cliff.
He has.
Last Triple Crown winner.
He is.
Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, he's going to join him. Here are your top 5 passing yardage leaders in the NFL. Passing yardage. Burrow, 46-41. Baker, 42-79. Darnold, 41-53. Geno Smith, 40-97. Jared Goff, 40-95. 4 of those guys were given up on. 3 of them were given up on multiple times. Multiple times.
Where's Stroud?
And one was the number 1 overall pick in the draft.
Where was Stroud? Is he close?
Stroud, yardage. So then Lamar is 6, Mahomes 7, Stafford 8, Allen 9, Stroud 10.
10.
Yeah, Stroud 10. Stroud's 19 touchdowns, 12 picks. It's brutal. Really brutal.
All right, we're going to go a little rapid fire here. I'm just going to ask Nathan your one thought.
Fun.
Bills 40, Jets 14.
Amari Cooper maybe had the catch of the year.
Did he?
It was pretty dang good.
I didn't know if it was the best catch in that game.
It was a pretty great catch.
What about was it Coleman or was it Mac? Who made the leaping one in the back of the end zone?
Keon Coleman, yeah,
where he just snatched it
out
of
the
thin
air.
air.
That was good too.
Yeah, no, Amari. It was a good catch by Amari. I really am shocked at what the Amari Buffalo experience has been. I thought for sure he was going to go there and like be 100 yards every single week.
It hasn't happened.
No, in fact, he has been over 60 yards twice with the Bills. That's it.
I think he only has. Does he have 2 touchdowns?
He has 2 touchdowns. One in his first game, one in the most recent game. He has games with 3 yards, 12 yards, no yards, and 10 yards.
Yeah, just hasn't been.
Yeah, not great. All right, Bo, one thought from you. Raiders 25, Saints 10. Raiders.
I mean, do you
determined.
really want one? You really want a thought on this?
I can't believe how
really
many
cool
points
uniform game.
Okay, perfect.
I guess the Raiders have really blown this. They were in a position to pick a quarterback, and now they're way back.
Now they're going to fire.
I can't believe that New Orleans actually had a 10-point quarter.
Yeah, they are wildly incompetent.
Giants 45, Colts 33. A thought from both of you.
This is as big of a. I mean, you think about one of the all-time you blew it's. Like you are sitting there, pick of the litter. Shedeur Sanders wore Giants cleats in his bowl game. Now, maybe you don't like Shedeur Sanders, I don't know, but he wore Giants cleats in the bowl game.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
With their logo on them?
They were blue and red. They were the Dion. Remember Dion's custom?
Yeah,
and
they
did
wear
have
those.
the logo.
Did they have the logo? Yeah.
Malik Neighbors.
What
is
happened to
so nasty?
And Flacco was in this game.
Flacco 330, just total
Couple of
Flacco.
picks, total
330,
Flacco
two
game,
touchdowns, 2 picks. By the way, guy that if you remember back in the drafts that you and we liked is starting to really become a nice player. Alec Pierce.
Yeah.
So he was big, vertical, University of Cincinnati. You know his numbers this year? 35 catches for 767 yards. He's averaging 21.9 yards a catch. That's highest in the NFL. 6 touchdowns. For his career, 17.4 yards a catch.
Wow.
And for his career, he averages 9 yards a target. Like, this is a guy who just needs more opportunity. He's the real deal vertical threat. He was a guy, man, I liked him a lot. They go second round of 22 draft. But he's starting to look really good. Now they got him, they got Pittman, they got Downs. Mm-hmm. They've got Adonai. They've got some pieces. Yeah. By the way, Colts, I mean, I don't know if we get. What about McAfee?
What was that about? I don't know. I saw the fallout, but I didn't see
too.
what led to the fallout.
I don't know. Apparently.
He and my boy Dockage have gone at Indy pretty tough. The Fighting Yellowstone's taken.
It felt to me like somebody had said something about the way he was talking about the organization, and he just was like, okay, here you go. Does G-Man know? I feel like that's something G-Man would be on top of.
The Colts?
I don't know what the McAfee stuff is. I didn't see it.
It was a random thing out of nowhere yesterday. I
saw his reaction, but I didn't see what.
Did you read his? You saw his tweet.
I saw his tweet, but I didn't see
the.
I don't know what led to that.
I'm sure he'll talk about it on a show today. I would imagine.
Eagles 41, Cowboys 7. Anybody with a thought? Somehow Kenny Pickett looked okay, but then Kenny Pickett got eviscerated.
Well, he went down. I mean, he got taken out of the game, and so they had to go to another guy. A.J. Brown did a really cool thing. That quarterback's first touchdown, he then threw the ball into the stands, but then he found the guy, gave him a signed jersey. Really cool.
From the game.
The local one of the local television stations in Philly found the guy who caught the ball before he got the signed jersey. He goes, I don't care about anything. I just want to give the ball back, give all the good vibes to the birds. That's it. Nothing, and then they found him and got him a signed jersey from A.J. Brown.
He took it out. And by the way, if you're going to get a signed A.J. Brown jersey, can you get any better than the Kelly Green throwback that he caught the touchdown in? Unbelievable. Awesome. I'm so happy that Saquon Barkley did not get hurt, but watching that game as they're up 34-7 in the fourth quarter and they're giving him the ball play after play after play after play after play was just stunning to watch.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay 48, Carolina 14. Panthers not so frisky.
No, they're not. No.
By the way, how come nobody's killing the Panthers?
Well, we talked about that.
I just don't get it. But they should be killing
had them both.
Had them both and then traded 3-1s.
Yeah. Right.
I'll throw it out there. If he doesn't get hurt, Mike Evans might be the offensive player of the year.
Well, they're also trying. They're
really
very cognizant of his history.
Where's
he's going to make it now? He's at 915. He needs 85. They'll do. You remember when Reggie Wayne needed a certain number of catches to set the record, and Peyton threw it to him every play in the first half? He had broken by middle of the first quarter.
Yeah,
that's what they're going to do.
The Jags beat the Titans 20-13. No one cares.
They're going to beat the Saints. Don't worry about it.
Vikes beat the Pack. We talked about that. The Commies beat the Falcons 30-24. I'm gonna do this as we go to break. First 16 NFL starts of their career. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Option A threw for 4,408 yards.
Okay.
30 total TDs, 8 INTs, 13-3 record. The other QB, option B, threw for 4,394 yards, 31 TDs, 9 interceptions, has a record of 11-5 currently.
I think one is Mahomes.
No.
I think he threw more than 9 interceptions.
And his 8 interceptions is the number.
8 interceptions?
Yeah.
Oh, I think he definitely threw more than 8. You said 13-3, so they've already played.
13-3.
So who's 13-3 in the league?
It could be any time, right? This could be any time.
Yeah, but
13
it is someone who is playing quarterback right now in the NFL.
Well, the second one's Jaden Daniels.
Correct.
Yeah. The first one, the 13-3, made me think Mahomes. But
in their first 16 starts ever.
It can't be I don't think it would be a rookie.
Could it be C.J. Stroud?
They didn't go 13-3.
No. I don't know what they were last year.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson.
Oh yeah, because he's
In his first 16 starts.
But didn't he come?
In his first 16 starts.
That's critical. So he came in for Flacco in the middle of his rookie year.
They didn't throw the ball at all. How many yards did you say he threw for?
44, 30, and 8. But he only came in at the end of that year. Because it was Flacco.
It was like 5 games.
And then he came in at the end of that year. So that plus the first 11 gets you to 16, I would say. That's probably what that is.
So Lamar's first year.
This is from CBS Sports, NFL on CBS.
7 games, and he threw for 1,200 yards. You mean to tell me in the other 9 games he threw for 3,200 yards? No, he did not. False. That smelled bad.
First 9 games?
That smelled bad from the beginning. Not a chance. His first 2 years in the league, he threw for 4,300 yards.
This is a Gibby read this wrong.
Gibby read it wrong. Gibby read it wrong.
Games.
Gibby read it wrong.
Total yards.
Okay.
What are we talking about?
Crushing it today so far.
What is going on?
Maybe I need to go back.
What is going on?
Lamar Jackson's, I mean.
This is the problem when I'm up at 6 a.m. rebooking flights for this week.
Boost your game day this season with the Valley Bet Sportsbook app. Place your first bet at $25
Crush that
more.
segment right
You get $150 back in bonus bets. Valley Bet, official sports betting partner of your.
I'll give you a fun fact to end on. Last 5 games, 45 targets, 34 catches, 512 yards, 5 touchdowns. Mike Evans.
That's Mike Evans.
34 catches on 45 targets for 512 yards and 5 touchdowns. I mean, that is just ludicrous.
I wanted to pull up.
He's been playing since 2014.
Yeah, to still do that. Mahomes. Oh God.
Mahomes would have been way
Mahomes'
more,
first year as the starter. 66% completions, 5,097.
Yeah, I thought he was higher. That's what I was going to say.
50 touchdowns, 12 picks.
I thought we were talking about this
touchdowns, 12 picks. All right, listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. OBM, the preferred provider of copiers and document services for the Cleveland Browns, will tackle any size office. Call 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. Ooh, a curveball. Little curveball for you. Little college football.
I like
Guess
it. The
scores.
G-Man came up with this, and I was like, absolutely. There's nothing. There's no better time
By the way,
like this today.
If you were serious about, this is my Uncle Bo's little reminder for the kids out there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're serious about putting any soft earned on any of this college football stuff that isn't the CFP, make sure you know who's playing and who's not.
It's a big.
Cam Ward played a half and then stopped.
That was
because he was trying to set the all-time record for passing touchdowns, I want to say.
Yeah.
Shador and those guys played, but it was kind of half-assed. So, just be careful. Be careful out there, kids.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. Little guess the college football scores. We'll get to the CFP quarterfinals, but I did want to include this one. The ReliaQuest Bowl, Alabama, Michigan, tomorrow, noon. Noon kick.
Jeez.
Who gets hurt there? Bishop, let's go with you first. And then college football Nate.
I think I should have to go first.
All right,
he's going to say something
Nate,
with,
go first.
He's going to say something with education
Well,
behind it and some know-how.
Bryce Underwood is practicing at Michigan. He can't play.
Looked impressive walking out on the field. There was a lot of oohing and ahhing about him walking out on the field.
That's one that Portnoy got?
Yeah. And the guy from Oracle.
Yeah.
Ellison.
Alabama minus 6.5.
I think Milroe is playing for Alabama. I think he's playing.
I originally wrote down 10.
That would lead you to the score.
So I'm going to go Alabama minus 10.5.
Alabama minus 13.5.
I cannot believe Ohio State lost to that team.
What's that?
Still can't believe they lost to that team.
This one, these don't count toward the greater good.
It didn't, but I mean,
it would have been the worst loss in program history.
It would have.
And now they could go out and beat the Ducks, and they can go win the national title.
Yep.
The Fiesta Bowl tomorrow night, 7:30. Tomorrow night's New Year's Eve. That's even crazier. Penn State, Boise State. Bob Wischusen, Louis Riddick, and Chris Budden.
I don't know. Okay.
On the call. College football, Nate.
Penn State minus 14.
I'm going to go Penn State minus 13.5.
Penn State minus 11.
Okay.
To New Year's Day we go. The Peach Bowl. Number 5, Texas, taking on number 4, Arizona State on ESPN at 1 o'clock.
Texas minus 20.
I'm going to go Texas minus 14.5.
Texas minus 13. It is the biggest number of the 4 games.
It should be 20. They could beat them by 50.
Where is the Peach Bowl played?
Atlanta.
Georgia Peaches.
I walked right into that.
So you got they play that, and then the national championships there in the 20th is in Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly. Chomps.
Chomps doesn't
Rose
talk.
Bowl 5
Those
o'clock.
are when I was in North Florida, and then we were also in South Georgia when I was in Tallahassee. Very popular T-shirt for certain was Georgia Peaches.
Oh yeah,
you lived in Atlanta. I'm sure you
absolutely.
It was a very pop because in those days, like the retro T-shirt was a really hot thing.
Yeah, sure.
In that time, yeah.
I get my peaches down in Georgia.
There you go.
Number 8, Ohio State. Number 1, Oregon. 5 o'clock Wednesday. The Rose Bowl, because the Rose Bowl won't play at any other time or day. Fowler, Herbie, Hollyrow.
They live in a world.
They live
where
in
they really are Costanza. It's like it's not a lie if you believe it. Like the Rose Bowl is acting like this is the Rose Bowl. All the pageantry, the parade. We're doing it at 5 o'clock because we said so. And college football just acquiesces. Now, I'm glad they do because it's one of the most remarkable settings in all of sport.
Yeah, it's great.
It's pristine. It's perfect. It's all of it. The aesthetic around it is as good as anything. It's like the Masters. I said, somebody on Twitter said it's like Augusta. I said, it's pretty close. Like those are the two that they really get it right. But it's absurd to think that this is more special. Like it's a quarterfinal.
Buckeyes.
This is the game, by the way. This could be the national title.
Buckeyes minus 2.5.
Yeah, I think you're right on it. 2.5.
You are both right on it. 2.5. 1 out of 3 ain't bad. That's a good batting average. That puts you in the Hall of Fame.
This is wide variable on the college side of it, though.
This is a team that lost to Michigan at home.
Yeah.
This is a team that's already lost to Oregon, who is the #1 team in the nation, and Ohio State's favored.
I don't think I like that they're favored.
What do you mean? Did you hear anything I just said?
I don't
There
think
is
I like
nothing about any of the statements I made that would lead you to believe that this team would be favored in this game, and yet they are. What does that mean? Buckeyes by 1 billion.
Oh, boy.
To the moon.
From your mouth to God's ears.
What are they
Sugar
doing
Bowl,
over there?
New Year's night,
They have
8:45.
gifts
You know,
for the
you want to wait up all day
building
for
desks.
that. Nothing like almost it'll be
Is
a 9
this
o'clock kick.
8:45 kick?
It says 8:45.
That's an abomination.
I agree.
College football's a joke with this stuff. It's a joke.
Like,
That
hold
is
on. If that's
awful.
going to be the case, then move the Peach Bowl up to 11 a.m.
It's in New Orleans at 8:45. Here's an idea.
8:45.
Take the Peach Bowl and play it in the afternoon on New Year's Eve.
I like that.
Scrumptious.
Just flip it.
I do like a cobbler.
That's ridiculous.
Sugar Bowl.
8:45. I mean, I'd love to watch this game.
Yeah. Number 7, Notre Dame, taking on number 2, Georgia. Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy, Molly McGrath. McDonough's awesome so far in these games.
Hold on, what's this matchup? Oh, we're done with it.
It's Georgia and Notre Dame.
Oh.
This is a good one. I don't know what to make of Georgia and the whole quarterback.
Well, we haven't seen him with
offense.
Gunnar Stockton,
Yeah.
so you don't really know. But Beck wasn't great, although he was last month.
Georgia -3.
Yeah, I'm going to go Georgia 2.5.
Georgia -1.5.
All right. There you go.
And then where are the semis played?
I think one of them's in Dallas.
Oh, Orange Bowl,
Yeah, Cotton Bowl is one of them.
Yeah, Dallas is where the Buckeyes will play, and I think the other one is the Orange Bowl.
Yes.
So
yes,
what a
you're
clown. Such a clown show. Oh, it's the Orange Bowl. Oh, no. Don't pay no attention to the fact that it's on a Thursday or
Yeah,
Friday
yes.
night. No,
A
no.
week
It's
after.
No, this is the Orange Bowl. Oh, you're all at work? No. Don't pay attention to that. It's still the Orange Bowl.
Still fine.
Yeah.
Then we're going
We're
back
gonna
to
kick them at
Atlanta when it's all
8:30.
said.
We look forward to that. What are we doing here? Am I going to break?
So much more to come.
Oh, so much. Well, before we do that, though, I should tell you if a car, truck, or motorcycle accident causes you injury, call the injury lawyers at 1-800 Elk, Ohio for a free case review. Elk and Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. So much more to come. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Check out Vivid Seats, our official fan experience package of this season's games. When you purchase seats in the Vivid Seats Terrace Experience, you can store pregame field passes, all-inclusive food and beverage, and more. Visit vividseats.com today to learn more. That we'll probably need to adjust that, right, since we don't have any more games?
What's wrong?
Well, we just said this season's games. Next season's games for Express Access and Vivid Seats.
But it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better.
It's going to be for next year.
It's only going to be
Yeah,
better.
but that's like
we don't have.
You can continue to sign up here into the offseason.
Sign up into the offseason for next season's
There are events
games.
at Huntington Bank Field.
I updated a
Vivid
couple
Seats,
lives
though.
already
Yeah,
that I
so
was,
we
and
gotta
I
get to-
and I reminded the
Where's the
CP
G-Man?
department
G-Man!
that fantasy football is officially over.
It's over, baby.
Yeah,
Not for me.
It's cooked. Also, I should remind you to join Ken and Gerard, the final Browns preview show of the year, University Hospital's Cleveland Browns Radio Network. The guys are going to break down all the Week 7 in the NFL, look ahead to the Browns and Ravens. Siciliano will join them, Rodney McLeod as well on that one. So there you go. There you go. So we got a Monday Nighter.
Monday Nighter, 49ers, they suck.
Could I
They're
convince you
hosting
guys
the Lions.
that today is
They're
Wednesday?
Good.
Could I convince you it's Wednesday or Thursday? Like, does this feel like we're
Yes.
still playing a Monday Night Football
Holiday
game?
in the middle of the week.
I don't even know
Awful.
where I am
Yeah.
anymore.
Thrown everything off.
1 minute. 1 minute.
I don't know.
Zagura, go ahead. Talk about how your childhood team's getting boat raced tonight.
I don't know if what's
Field goal and a half.
Did you not look at the rundown?
I threw it out.
Threw it out. There you go.
That's
Just now
on
I
par.
threw it out.
Just now. You had it the whole day, to be fair.
Lions huge.
Same.
Lions ram it.
Yeah, I think they'll.
Deal,
But they
deal,
don't
the
matter. It
electric
doesn't
tomorrow.
matter for them. This is a tough. This is
It does
30
matter for them, though, right? Because they
No.
got to keep pace with Minnesota.
No, they win next week. That game is for the number 1 seed.
So
Period.
regardless.
Yeah, regardless.
Regardless. Yeah. I feel like they. It seems like he's gonna be biting kneecaps. Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't even know this game's being played.
It's in San Francisco. When's the last time San Francisco played a meaningless month
15.
of December?
A long time. This was
Been
the
a
NFC
minute.
Championship rematch. This
It
supposed
is.
to
That's
be-
true. A monster.
Yeah. Not.
All right. The next level's next. We're back tomorrow. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.